Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of the Joining Me Today podcast. We're now on the 9th episode of the podcast, and just even saying that, I was thinking about it earlier, the 9th episode of the podcast. It's crazy to think how far this podcast has come, and I'm very proud. I'm living the podcast dream, living the dream. And I've also just remembered that instead of doing that, I should have done my joke, and I got my t-shirt all prepared and ready, and I've just realised that now, and I'm very sad, so I'm going to tell it quickly anyway. I was going to wear a different t-shirt today, wearing Fear of the Dawn, Jack White, great album, check it out if you guys can. I was going to wear this t-shirt from a band called Yard Act, but then I realised that due to how the logo looks and how it's red and black, it looks like I'm part of a cult, and I didn't want to associate with that because they're not a K-pop band. But anyway, I'm joking. They're going to come after me now. But anyway, I've got a fantastic episode lined up for you guys and stuff, another great guest. But before I go on to that interview, I've got my song recommendation for you guys. And today, I'm going to be doing another recommendation actually from an artist that I've recommended before. And that artist is Orla Gartland, fantastic Irish artist. She's got a fantastic voice, so many great songs. I've actually ordered her album, her most recent one, on vinyl. It should be coming very, very soon. And I'm actually going to be recommending one of the songs from that album, the best one. And it's going to be a song called You're Not Special, Babe. Fantastic and stuff, sort of like indie alternative song, sort of implementing and stuff like that. Like sort of more though modern pop elements of like bass and all that, but then kind of mixing it in with that more sort of cutesy sort of that indie sort of aesthetic, sort of all bringing it together. Fantastic song. You guys should definitely go check it out. But anyway, enough dilly-dallying around. Today on the podcast, I have YouTuber, social media influencer, an all-around fantastic guy. Welcome to the podcast, Senpapi Rick. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing fine, and I'm gonna check out the song. I'm always interested in finding new songs, so I'm gonna check it out.
Oh, you definitely should, and like it's my recommendation. I know everything about music. I am music, but anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, but speaking of music, as I like to do with every episode, I like to do song recommendations myself, but also I like to hear ones from my guests. So what song recommendation would you like to suggest out to the public?
So I'm gonna be a little bit different because my background is Spanish. A little bit more about me. I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban. So to give a little bit more of a Latin, spice to it, there's an artist that has been trampling the world, especially in in America and a lot of the South America areas. His name is Bad Bunny, and this song is called Una Guni. And Una Guni is basically a song that he kind of dedicated towards like the Asian continent. And he actually, towards the end of the song, majority of the song is in Spanish, but he ends the song speaking in Japanese. That's something I have never seen ever a Spanish, artist done. I've never seen a Spanish artist combine a different language entirely. Sometimes I might see them do like a little bit, Portuguese or Italian, French, because it all derives from Latin. But this one artist went from Spanish to Japanese. So that track has always stuck out to me. And you see him respecting different parts of Asia. You have like him doing the Korean Taekwondo with other Koreans. You actually see the Korean flag in the background. Then he's at a ramen shop, and then he's getting a tattoo of Pokemon Go on his leg. So it was pretty cool. I liked it. So that's my song recommendation, Yonagini by Bad Bunny. And yeah, I'll leave it at
that. Yeah, Bad Bunny, nobody can deny his recent success. I think that, in America and stuff, I think he's very well known, but sort of over here in Europe, I think a lot of people don't really know too much about him. But, when you find out, you're like, oh my god, this guy's, he's massively popular. Most streamed artist on Spotify, I think,
Yep.
a couple years running or something, And I also love the fact that he's so, progressive as well, so supportive of all these different communities. He's just yeah, I'll dress up feminine, I don't care. He did it in a music video, So, and like you said about the whole appreciating Asian culture and all that, you love to see that sort of thing. So, yeah, you guys should definitely go check that out. It's a pretty sick recommendation to me. So now I'd like to get into the... Oh, yeah, go on.
I was gonna say I appreciate you actually know you said you know music and you are music. I agree with that now because the fact that you knew about the other music videos that he's done and little things, I like that. I like that. But continue.
I just had my phone here, down here the whole time. Like, yeah, no, I know.
Write it down. Write it down. Write it down.
Quick. No, why is it buffering? So yeah, but anyway, yeah. So the first question I'd like to get into and stuff like that, obviously, and stuff, you are a YouTuber and stuff, as I said in the beginning and stuff. But I'm always interested in knowing, how did your YouTube channel get started in the first place?
So actually, it's a funny story. So I started off the channel with actually doing AMVs. So I love anime. I love. I started having a passion of rock music towards, I guess, like my late teen years. I grew up predominantly, with Spanish music, reggaeton, salsa, merengue, bachata. Those are the typical things you listen to when you're growing up in a Spanish household. So rock, pop, hip hop kind of came, towards the end of my teenage years, and how all this is related. I'm trying to get off topic. Is that basically I started off with the AMVs. I got introduced to Linkin Park and to Skillet and to all this kind of stuff. So I started the channel off with just me doing Dragon Ball AMVs, and it didn't really pan out right, and it was not really getting much traction at all. And then I discovered basically the Goons, which is Matt or Blarg, Soup, McNasty, the Do, and as well as the friends, a part of that group, which is Grizzy, Ashdog, Tuxie, and so on and so on. So when I got introduced to them, their humor resonated with me. So I started making little compilations on my own phone. So I started, just downloading their content, clipping certain things from my phone. Nothing that wasn't on a computer or anything. So I started off with a regular, it was a Galaxy 7, and I downloaded all the clips. I put them into a compilation, and I viewed them myself. But because of limited technology, even though we're talking about maybe like 5 years ago, I had a 32 gigabyte SD card with a 64 gigabyte phone. After me making my 10th or 7th compilation, I was running out of space on my phone. So I decided to upload it on YouTube. And that's where it started. I uploaded on YouTube, made it private, and then I started sharing it with my coworkers because at the time period, I was a customer service worker at a Walmart. And I started sharing this compilation that I made with my coworkers, and they started laughing. They subscribed to the guys. Like, wow, you should actually make this public. So I'm like, if I make this public, I think the Goons might come after me, and I don't want to get sued. I don't want to get a lawsuit. I'm just a regular customer service worker. I'm poor. I ain't trying to get into no fight. I'm not trying to get into a boxing match with McNasty, who's 6'7". Like, I'm not trying to get all that done. So then I looked up my little research how compilation works on YouTube, and they're like, oh, it's fair use depending how you use it and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, as long as it has a narrative, which most of mine did have a narrative, and I made it public. And next thing you know, one of the compilations, I woke up with 1,000 views. I'm like, okay. Next morning, 20,000. All right. Following week, 150,000, and it just started ticking from that point on. And after the compilation became a big thing, I just started doing other type of content, vlogging, unboxings, gaming, and I'm here today.
And yeah, and nobody can deny and stuff the fantastic success you've had and stuff. Like you've had multiple videos and stuff get like over 1 million views and stuff. Like, like most people can only like dream of that. Even people that have made it, they will still only have like maybe one that's got it. But you can sit there and say, look what I've done, and it's all through your own hard work and stuff. And you've amassed like loads of fans as well. Like, how must all that feel like, having all these, you don't want to call them like statistics per se, but sort of all the, like numbers, but having all this success from like stuff you've built?
It's overwhelming. I'm not used to it. I grew up in a big city. It was the city I grew up in, New Jersey. I think the population was like maybe like 800,000, close to 1 million who lived in that one city. I think it's one of the top 5 largest cities in the nation. So I was around a lot of people, but at the same time, a lot of people were separated. They were very antisocial with each other. So yes, I was around a lot of people. At the same time, I wasn't. I was very to myself. And then from going from not really texting much people or messaging much people then getting hundreds of comments a day that I try my best to respond to people talking about me on other people's videos, or oh, I can't wait for Senpapi Rick to clip this part. Or I'll look at like when my compilation thing was at its prime. I remember seeing on the Goons' the videos. Oh, at 6:31, Senpapi Rick. So they would actually help me get more clips for compilations, which obviously it was really funny, and I really appreciate that. But people were actually looking out for me, like, oh, go with this part. This is the part for this. This is for this. This is for that. And there's so many people who identified me, or they would see my comment and they'll like my comments whenever I comment on other people's channels. It's weird, but it was humbling and amazing.
But yeah, and let's be honest, you deserve the success you've got though, all those comments and all that, you know, because your stuff is amazing and stuff, and people and stuff, you know, they find it entertaining, they love what you do, and it must be crazy to think that the guys you've made the compilations of are also like, hey, we know you, and they're referencing you, like, what must it be like and stuff when it's like they're commenting below on your videos like that, they know who you are. That must be crazy.
It's like for a person you look up to, like for example, like if you're into anime, for example, if you grew up with Dragon Ball and you're a big fan of Sean Schemmel, or you're a big fan of Christopher Sabat, which is the voices of Goku and Vegeta, and then next thing you know, something you do, and Sean Sham's like, oh yeah, I know Bailey. And he's like, excuse me, Bailey did this podcast and did this and that, and it's like, like how do you? Well, it's because of one thing I did. Next thing you blow up. It's like, oh, I know. Christopher Sabat's like, oh, I know this person. Is it because I did this and that? It's like, it feels fake because of one thing you do. Now you're known by the people who you looked up to. So it's weird. I still get used to it to this day. Because when I went to Boston last year and to PAX, I introduced myself to Grizzy and Blarg and all those people. I see myself as a fan. I still to this day I see myself as a fan, not a friend. Though we are friends now. But when I introduced myself to Blarg, I reached my hand out. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Rick." I never said Senpapi Rick because again, I'm not to make it sound egotistical, but I do see myself as a humble person. So I went to every single person who I looked up to: Puffer, Pezzy, Joy, Grizzy. Hi, I'm Rick. Hi, I'm Rick. Hi, I'm Rick. Blarg was the one who noticed my face and noticed my voice. He's like, wait, Rick, Senpapi Rick. I'm like, yeah. So he grabbed me, he yanked me, and he gave me a big hug. Oh. And then that's when Grizzy's like, wait, you're Rick? You're Senpapi Rick? And then same thing, he gave me a hug and everybody was cool with me. And then went outside to do a fan meetup. And same thing, Matt, with all the people, with Wildcat, with 407, we're like, okay, all the fans who want pictures, stand to the side, and then one by one, you can go to the person who you want a picture with, and we'll also sign your badge. Same thing, I went to the side with all the fans, and then you see Matt. He's like, Rick, like, what the bleep are you doing there? Like, you're not a fan. Get the hell over here. I'm like, but I'm a fan. I look up to you guys. You're a YouTuber too. Get your butt over here, and you're gonna get a picture with you. You're gonna be one getting pictures with the fans. Oh, you're not gonna get pictures with us. I'm like, okay. So it's weird. That's all I can say. It's weird.
He didn't just start saying stuff to you, just be like, oh, you come in my house. It's like, okay, go on, yeah, you're gonna, no, we're gonna cook food for you. It's like, okay, like, I've done my compilations. But no, it must be like I think of like this podcast, for instance, like, like the amazing like interview I've got like with yourself right now, and like speaking of Nate and Chad and sort of my other guests I've got on, I did one recently and stuff like that with a YouTuber called Jim Daly. He's like a football YouTuber and stuff from like over here and stuff, and like he is somebody like I've watched for like years. And he's inspired me sort of musically and all that, because he does like music comedy and stuff. And to sit down, have a conversation with him and to be like, yeah, I've worked with him and all that. And like, he knows who I am and one of his biggest videos and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I was joking around with him, you should reference this. And he's like, oh, I might do actually. And it's like wow, it is very like weird, like, to sort of have that sort of like kind of like relationship, like they know who you are. It's like crazy and stuff, but
yeah,
it's so weird. But speaking and stuff of Chad and Nate and stuff like that, sort of you guys and stuff like that are all like close friends and stuff. You recently started a channel, I saw, the Beardy Bros
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, Beardy
Mm-hmm.
Boys and stuff. That's been going and stuff very well, very good content. Interesting video, the last one you guys just uploaded with that kid,
Yeah.
that guy. That was, buddy, what a trip that was. But how did you come to know and stuff the guys and stuff, Chad, Nate, and everyone else on the Renegades?
So essentially, going back to where the channel rooted from, compilations. So a lot of compilations I did of the Goons, Soup, and Grizzy, they blew up. A lot of them just went on trending, a recommendation, and it just skyrocketed. Especially a series of Soup going too far, which is the more edgy, raunchy jokes that Soup did that might kind of teeter on the guidelines of said platform we're on. So I kind of highlighted those jokes and put into one big video, which for some reason that was YouTube's perfect video to recommend to people. The video that trends the very closest to that line of the guideline. That's like right there. It's right there. If you go a little past it, then you're looking at maybe a strike or you're looking at maybe demonetization. But YouTube's like, you know what? Throw it. We're going to recommend it to everybody. And it blew up. I think currently is getting close to 4 million views, which is mind-blowing. But Nate reacted to that video. So a lot of compilations that I put together, Nate and the Renegades reacted to it. And it got to the point where once I started cooling down on uploading compilation content and started focusing on my own content, since I seen Nate do reactions and I got interested in doing reactions, I actually messaged him for pointers. How should I do it? What's this and what's that? And after of me and him talking for a bit of just like advice on both sides, because he wanted to get back into gaming, and since I was doing gaming, I was in a circle of the goons. I gave him pointers about gaming. He gave me pointers about reactions, and we just decided, why not just do it together? How about I do reactions, and I get on a call with him, and we react to the same thing together. I'll put it on my video. We'll do 4 videos. 2 goes on mine, 2 goes on his. And then for gaming videos, we just get together, we do some gaming, and then we'll upload on our respective gaming channels, and we just became like very, very close friends.
And yeah, like there's sort of videos and stuff you guys and stuff have done together and stuff. It's like, it's great because it's like you see a lot of reaction channels out there and stuff like that where sort of, it's just a person on their own, and if it's a good reaction channel and stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's still a good video, but it's so much different if you can react with someone and you can bounce off each other and like, let's say you've watched a video and you could be like, oh, you know what's coming up, and then you're like waiting for their reaction. Like, it's always great that sort of like, oh, they're going to be scared here or something. And so it's always great to have that sort of sense of community and stuff like that. And it's like, that's why I like sort of the podcast being like an interview, because it's nice to sort of bounce off, have nice conversation and all that. And yeah, I think you, Nate, and stuff like that, and then doing the things with Chad and all that, like, it's fantastic stuff. And if you guys haven't, you should definitely go check those videos out. Go check out the Beardy Boys YouTube channel. Great stuff to doing over there. It's got this fantastic man up here, like, why wouldn't you? So I'm like, he's rocking the beard. I've got bum fluff here, but it's fine. I'm doing well, I guess.
Listen, I could give you some pointers and give you some recommendations. If you are trying to grow a hair, people who are listening right now, if you're trying to grow a beard, the best thing you could do is reset yourself. So what I did in my high school times, like when I was, late middle school, very early high school days, I was rocking the little caterpillar. That's all I could grow. And I had like a little bit of patches here and there. I took advice from another kid. I believe he was some type of mutant. I don't know. He was 14 years old with a beard like this. So I don't know if he went through puberty when he was like 3 years old. I'm not sure. But he told me his secret, and the secret worked for me. And what he did at the age of 12 was every 2 to 3 days, he shaved for 6 months. Any little bit of hair that grew, he shaved it off immediately. Because every single time you shave, your body produces more collagen to try to produce more hair. Because, quote unquote, facial hair is like a defense mechanism, apparently, by some cultures or some scientists, whatever. So it's good for like how it was like back in the days, warriors to develop beards to withstand punches or swords. That's a whole speculation thing. But makes it interesting to talk about that you're a warrior with a beard, to make you kind of want to grow a beard faster. But the purpose of the topic is that to shave every 2 to 3 days for about 3 to 6 months, and then just apply some type of oil. So beard oil, or if you want to put like some type of lotion or whatever, something that stimulates your face. And after 6 months of just doing that kind of stuff, just let it be, and you should be able to get those patches to go away and get something like this.
Look at that! Look at that beard. Yeah, that's award-winning. That beard right there. Look, see, look, he's prepared. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. See, that's a beard. This is like, I don't even know what this is. But, but no, genuinely though, like, you're right with that advice. Like, it is a thing, yeah. If you obviously shave like sort of hair with your hair as well, when it's normal hair, like the more and more you shave it, they say it grows faster and more. So you're definitely right on that. But I didn't know that it was like, is that like a thing then? They say it was like defensive or something like that, like beards. I've never even heard of that.
That's what I heard. A lot of people who I heard from the Viking era days, or people who look into Norse mythology, or people who look into that type of like warriors, Spartans, and stuff like that. Those are some things that were told, and there was some type of science behind it that where someone with a full-grown beard that got punched in the jaw, the pressure of, I guess, the impact was slightly lessened because of the beard, because he had like a very long beard. So that could be speculations, that could be fake, that could be whatever. But I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it sounds cool that if you have a beard, you're a warrior. I kind of was kind of biased, but
I laugh now if you just sort of see people like sort of saying like conspiracy theory, beards actually what caused COVID, or like can stop COVID, like that's the true mask. I laugh if that ended up being a thing. We all know what America's like. We all know.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just.
No offense to Americans out there. Obviously.
Oh no. I take the offense because they offend me sometimes. So how y'all see us, I see us the way y'all see us. If that makes sense.
No, we get it. I get it. Sadly though, and stuff, to take things on a bit sort of less of the lighter note and stuff, going back to talking about strikes and all that and stuff, I know you spoke a lot about the struggles you've had, unfortunately, with your channel in terms of strikes and all that. Sort of describing stuff like that to us, like what's been going on with all that and stuff with your channel.
So with the history of where I've been on YouTube, it's been a roller coaster, because there's times where changes could happen with the previous administration with Susan. She's no longer the CEO of YouTube now. You have a new person. I forgot his name. But when she was the main administration running the platform, when she came into CEO status, maybe in mid 2010s, but she started changing a lot of rules with obviously profanities and with cussing and other works of like tobacco, because a little background with me, I am a cigarist. I love cigars. I explore the whole world of cigars. I used to have a channel about it, but because of the new policies, cigars and anything that dealt with tobacco was a big no-no. So that channel had to get scrapped. And then with her changing the rules of, I guess, profanity, going from the first minute you can't say certain words, to then the first 30 seconds you can't say certain words, which then led other creators to be, okay, since it's now 30 seconds, I must let the words, spiral within the 45-second or 48-second mark. But then the next update to that policy was the first 15 seconds, but the first 1 minute can't have it. So she went back on her word of it before being 30 seconds to now being a minute. So then, all right, the first 15 seconds, you can't have any profanity, but the first minute, you can't have any censored word. So it kept on changing. And when she changed it, anything that was uploaded prior was also affected to the new rule. So even if you have content from 2015 through 2020, and the new rule is issued in 2021, that 2021 rule applied to your channel from 2015 to present. So if anything that was deemed bad for the guideline, even though it was a video that was made before the new guideline, you could get potentially a strike. And that's what happened with me. And I know same thing with Chad and same thing with Nate, where you will get guidelines for a new rule for old videos. So there was times where they also changed the rules for compilations, which is why another reason why I stopped doing compilations for the longest time, because at one point I was monetized for it. The channel is still monetized, but for a small duration of time, I think for 2 weeks, they completely took away monetization options 100% from my channel in beginning of 2021, and then they also did it again in 2022 in March. So when I was out in Boston, they took away my monetization. So I was in Boston, a whole different state, and the money that I was supposed to get, I was supposed to get the YouTube money on one of the days where I was in Boston, because I wanted to treat the people who I worked with very closely, and I wanted to take them out to a restaurant or this, or just to have all of us together, just to have fun, just to find out that if you're demonetized, whatever payments you get from the previous month does not apply until you get remonetized.
So they took away your money.
So they took away my money. So they withheld my money. So if I were to fail, like if I were to reapply, and if I were to get declined, I have to wait another 30 days to reapply. And how they work is if, let's say for the month of March, I earn $1, right? For the month of March, I'll earn $1. I have 50 days to get remonetized to get my money back. But if I reapply in 30 days and deny me, I have to wait another 30 days. In other words, that's 60 days. So on the 50th first day, that $1, YouTube keeps it. So let's say that they deny me, and let's say that if I'm like a Mr. Beast, let's say if I had $10 million for the month of March, if they demonetize me and they decline me on the 51st day, they keep that 10 million.
Oh my God. See, and the most messed up part about that is that, like, if somebody deserves it, we've had, like, your J stations and all that, yeah, their money should be taken away. But if you appealed it and they were like, oh, we messed up, which they know happens, because it's happened numerous times, it basically means that, like, yeah, so we're already taking, like, a massive cut, we're going to take even more, and any money you earned before, even though you did nothing wrong, and then we might say you did nothing wrong anyway when we demonetize you, yeah, we're going to, like, start taking money away from you. That's so, like, messed up. That's like being in a job and stuff like that, and you've been like, I don't know, you made like sort of a mistake at work and stuff, but then they figured out, oh, it wasn't your fault and stuff. That's like them going, yeah, all the money you earned before that, no, you don't get to have, and because it's taken a long time to appeal the process, yeah, we're gonna just start taking more of your money away. Oh, and that was for the compilations, was it, as well?
Yep, it was for their new revised version of the guidelines for reuse content. And the part that sucked is that when they did demonetize me for that month, for 30 days, I had no monetization. And then when I reapplied, it took them 7 days to approve me. So I went 37 days with no monetization. But guess what? That 37 days, even though I amassed maybe like 400,000 views, there is no monetization. So I didn't earn nothing for those 37 days. And I uploaded a few videos that did very well. And I earned zero for it. Zero. And after they reestablished my monetization, another thing is, once I already know for a fact with how you're doing your channel, you will get to the point where you get monetization. There's something called CPM and RPM. Obviously, I'm not going to expose how much I make, whatever. But usually when you first establish monetization, you start off with maybe like $1 for RPM, which you get $1 per 1,000 views. And CPM, you start off with like maybe $4.25 per that's per 1,000 ads. So every 1,000 ads that's ran on your channel, you get $4.25, but that's split between YouTube and Google. They're the same company, but I think about like 55% is taken to YouTube and Google. You keep 45% of the $4.25. That's when you first start. After 2, 3, 4, 5 years of you being on YouTube, obviously your base CPM or RPM rises up. So somebody like Mr. Beast, who's been monetized for many, many years, you're probably looking at maybe RPM being at like $8, $9, $20 per 1,000 views, and CPM being at maybe like 40, 50, 60 bucks. But when they remonetized me, I had a decent amount of CPM RPM because I was monetized for like 2 or 3 years. Because I lost monetization, they started me out on 2 cents for RPM, which means I was making 2 cents per 1,000 views. and then my CPM was they started me off with a CPM with $1.
Oh my god.
So I was getting 45 cents per 1,000 ads, and basically about like 5 cents per 1,000 views. Not only they jit me out of 37 days, they completely resetted me for everything.
And the maddest thing is, right, like, again, if it was like they stood by their decision, it was permanent, fair enough. But they reversed their decision, so they're at fault. Why should you get reset when you've done nothing wrong? They just striked your video unfairly, because even if they want to say, yeah, it's reused content, the people that you were reusing the content for and stuff, they didn't care, and they would give you the license if they were part of, let's say they own their own company, they'd go, there you go, Rick, you can use it. Like, there's no contracts involved, they've just been petty, and then they're 2 cents.
And to expand on that with the whole reuse thing, the reuse applied to content that had no narrative. I always focus on compilations that had a specific narrative to their community. So if they talk about a topic a lot, the narrative will be the topic, and I make a highlight of that topic being discussed, which is a narrative. On top of that, they said reuse content channels, they get striked when majority of the content on the channel is reused content. At the time when they're demonetizing for those 30 days, I had about 480 videos on the channel. About 60 of them were compilations. The 420 were my videos. So the channel itself was predominantly my content. So it was not a reused channel. Even though, yes, the reused content had the most views, but the percentage of how many reused content there was, or quote-unquote reused content, to original content was about 20%, well, less than 20% was reused. And when I read the guideline and I reset it into my to get a revoke their decision, they just declined it immediately. Even though they said it has to be a fully reused channel, which mine wasn't.
Which it isn't, because it's 60 out of 480. That's a very small percent. The stuff I've seen with you, because I've been like on YouTube, I've watched YouTube since about, I think, 2012, and so that I've been making content on it since 2014, and sort of this like podcast is something new, but I've done stuff before, and it's so upsetting to see how the platforms change. Like, I just see now, I just find it funny that YouTube say we care about, fixing this issue, that issue, we don't want these things featured on the platform. And then these are the same people that have actually featured on their trending tab a video and stuff by Lele Pons, a YouTuber, where the whole joke is the fact that it's them playing children hitting on a teacher and the teacher sort of going along with that. And it's like, so that content is not only okay, but it's pushed on the trending tab. We all know the suicide video with Logan Paul pushed on the trending tab. And it's like, oh, reuse content even though it's allowed? Nah, just strike it down. No demonetization. Fully reused channel. It's like this never really happened before, and there wasn't many issues with the platform. Isn't it funny that as these rules have come in, we've seen more of these bad people come in? Jake Paul, Logan Paul, J Station, Lele Pons. Isn't it funny they've now come now, and it's like, but they don't get hurt, but then all the people that do nothing wrong then get hurt? YouTube's a joke. It genuinely is in so many ways, and I feel so sorry for yourself having to go through that. Like, it must have been horrible having your money taken away and all that. Yeah,
especially when you're in a whole different state and you're dependent on that money to hit your bank so you can get home. So you have to use credit cards to get home. So yeah, it was. But obviously, I'm here now and everything's fine now. But it's like you just said, it's a system where it used to be fair. So then it just changed, because you have like what both Nate and Chad went through with their strikes with, one video being okay on one creator's channel, but when it's on a creator with less views or less subs, now it's a strikeable issue. But for the channel that has the millions or the 10 millions of views or subscribers, we're gonna keep their video up. But for those who are less than that person, we're gonna give you a strike because it's harmful acts in that video. But we're reacting to the original video is still up.
Mm.
You strike me. This is a reaction. I didn't upload the footage. I'm reacting to the footage that you guys allowed on your page that this other bigger creator is watching as well. So we're reacting to a reaction, but we get striked. But the bigger reactor could walk fine.
Just nothing.
So it's the system is weird.
Yeah.
But we have a new CEO. Hopefully, so far he made a new rule change with the whole profanity aspect, which is first 7 seconds you can't drop the F-bomb, and that's about it. That's the new rule. The first 7 seconds you cannot drop the F-bomb. Every other curse words is fine after the 7-second mark. But there's no excessive amount of F-bombs could be dropped in the video. So as long as you don't drop the F-bomb in the first 7 seconds, don't excessively say that word, then you're golden. Which I think that new rule is fine.
Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, you know, YouTube it shouldn't just be a platform for kids or family-friendly content. You know what I mean? You know, you're not expecting to see, like, slasher films level of stuff on here.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, I'm an adult, you know, you're an adult, we're going to watch things that adults are going to want to watch, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you're going to see sort of stuff in it where people, you know, are swearing a bit, you know what I mean? Like, what we're going to do, be shielded by that? And they advertise it on television. What about music videos? Because we can get into music videos where they say a lot worse things, and yet they get monetized. So it's double standards. And like you said, it's all the big, small things, you know, it's smaller YouTubers get. I saw that thing with Chad as well, like you were saying, where he got demonetized and stuff like that, and they tried to strike him, and then they were like, oh, but Markiplier's one can stay up, that's fine, you know, he's the big YouTuber, but let's strike the small guy. And Nate pointed out, like, the YouTube man, like, what you doing? But hopefully, as you said, the new CEO should hopefully fix things up. So here's hoping for the best, really, for the platform.
I do too. I definitely do too.
But now and stuff I'd like to get and stuff on to, once again, a lighter note and stuff like that. Like, I am myself a big fan of gaming and stuff. Got all my gaming and stuff here and stuff behind me, and also know yourself and stuff. You love playing video games and all that. What is your sort of history and stuff with like gaming and stuff?
Okay, so I started gaming when I was like 4 years old because I mentioned this a lot in my videos. I have ADHD. I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I was a annoying, rambunctious demon of a child. I was hyper. I would not sit still. I did have the luxury of having an older sister, which is only like a year older than me. So we literally grew up with each other. But when she got into school, and when she entered kindergarten, and I was left home, I drove my mom mad. So my dad is like, we have to find something to just shut him up. Just to keep him quiet, just to keep it in the corner of a room, and just let him just stop running and talking and stuff like that. So my dad went to Costco. He found a bundle where I was born in 97. So I was 4 years old, so it was 2001. My dad went to Costco. He bought a Game Boy Advance SP. He also bought a PlayStation 1. And the game he bought for me, for some reason, for a 4-year-old child, he bought me Toys R Us Racing for the PS1 and also Metal Gear Solid, which is a rated M game.
I was actually thinking that in my head. Like, imagine if he got in Metal Gear Solid. I was actually just thinking that.
So it was polar opposites. So you had Toys R Us Racing, which is an amazing, you know, the Pixar movie or under Disney umbrella, and you have a guy literally unaliving terrorists and trying to prevent a robot from launching nuclear missiles into the country of America and stopping this walking machine from basically erasing America from history. And then also, you know, toys racing a go-kart. So it was weird. So that was my introduction, and as well as Pokemon for my Game Boy SP. And that was from that point on, I started playing a little bit more of the Metal Gear. You know, I had no idea what the hell it was about, but I started gravitating towards Metal Gear as a kid. My dad kind of explained something while keeping it PG and not saying that, oh yeah, I'm actually taking away this person's life. He's like, oh yeah, he's just sleeping. So you're using this water gun like thing, and they're just going to sleep. So that red puddle, that's just the water from the little pill you shot at them. Oh, okay, Dad, thank you. But from that point on, I got more into Metal Gear. I got into more of Pokemon. I'm obsessed with Pokemon. If you look behind me, all these are Pokemon cards.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Pikachu right here. You have another Pikachu right here. You see Matt right here. So I have a broken Mewtwo. So his foot is broken, so we're not gonna focus on that. But yeah, there's more Pokemon stuff here, and you see the PlayStation logo. So I'm big into gaming and stuff like that. And it's just from playing Toys R Us Racing to Metal Gear, then this creator from getting into Resident Evil and so on.
And yeah, let's be honest. You know what I mean. You know, it's not your conventional origin story, but you know what I mean. It is fantastic. It's like, I wish mine was just played Super Mario World on a GBA SP as well. Funny enough. But yeah, it's not. It wasn't Resident Evil or Silent Hill. It's not for me. Imagine that. Like, oh no, he's just trying to give him breakfast. Oh, it's like that. Like, but yeah, sort of. What would you say is like your opinion and stuff going from like the past to the present? Like, what would you say is your current opinion on like the current gaming scene? Like,
I posted a tweet not too long ago that I feel like there was I forgot what YouTuber it was, which was that I forgot that scene from that Disney movie where it's a guy like this and there's a whole bunch of swords pointing at him and say, "Oh, what's your hot take that will have the community do this to you?" And my hot take was basically, I feel like gaming now holds your hand way too much, and it also the tutorials are overabundant. Before, games used to just throw you into this world, and you had to figure out the buttons. You had to figure out how to move around. There was no waypoints. There's no quick saves. There's no checkpoints. It was just you spawn into this world. You follow along with the story. If you get lost, well, you're on your own. So that's what I kind of miss. It's like from me playing Pokemon from the Platinum days or the was it Pearl and Diamond days. Cynthia was the hardest champion I have ever fought, ever. Like, she was frustrating. Then after that battle, you get into Black and White, you get into X and Y, and then now the champion only has 3 Pokemons or only 4 Pokemons. So Cynthia had all 6, all being high leveled. All of them had a specialty, either a special defense, special attack. So I felt like gaming back then was a little bit more raw and for development. Now I feel like gaming is catering too much for low attention span and kids. It's too geared toward kids. Even though it's a rated M game, like for Call of Duty, stuff, or like Fortnite, I think it's supposed to be like a rated T game, but it's very kid-like, extremely kid friendly. These are like rated T, rated M games that you're pushing for kids, like the Call of Duty Code of Conduct. If kids are offended by the things that's being said over the comms of Call of Duty, that's because there are kids. Hello, they're playing the rated M games. It's a mature game, so mature language is present in a mature game.
It's gonna have violence up. You're playing a game about like World War II. Like, it's not meant for kids. Kids can't buy it. So it does annoy me when I see politicians and stuff. You don't really know anything about gaming, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, kids should stop playing these violent video games." And it's like, well, it's not for them. Like, you do know we got the ratings on there that say, look, you did it, Congress. Remember when you had that whole thing when you put the ratings in? Like, do you not remember that? Like, it does annoy me with that. And going back to that sort of thing about the hot takes thing and stuff, I do definitely agree with you. Like, I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's just fact, really. Like so many. I don't get involved in the whole when people say, "Oh, I'm gonna say this is a hot take." No, you've either got facts, opinions, and things that aren't true. Like all this about, oh, it's a hot take, and once if people like disagree with what I say, like I've got a very famous and stuff like that sort of hot take. I think Breath of the Wild is a terrible, not even just Zelda game, but I think it's a terrible game. And people will be like, "Oh, that's a hot take," and hate against you, and they don't appreciate your opinions. And it's like, yeah, but really, I'm using a lot of facts here. Like, I'm not wrong. Like, I don't care really what the rest of the community think. I played the game. I didn't agree that was that good and stuff. And I do think, like you were saying about like the handholding thing and stuff like that, handholding and stuff, and then like people try to defend it and stuff like that. And I do think they should have things that cater for the mainstream. But I do feel like for a lot of sort of like more hardcore gamers and stuff, this isn't just like guys who played NES back in the day going, oh, grumpy, oh, I want this, I want it to be like Contra. Like, no, but like, I don't want to sit. I'm 20 years old. I don't want to sit and play a game where I'm like, oh, I'm not really thinking about it. Going back to Pokemon, I played like Pokemon Shield. I think I've got it just up here. Oh, there we go, right? Pokemon Shield. I played through this, got this day one. I picked the fire type and stuff for, I think, 78 of the gyms. I never changed Pokemon once. I was able to demolish every single gym with one Pokemon. And I didn't even grind on that game. I just beat every trainer as normal. But because it was so easy, all the Pokemon were low level. And I'm like, I know, they know Pokemon's for adults. Is there no difficulty slider? No. So what am I meant to do? Oh, I just don't play this anymore then. Don't play Pokemon anymore. Because it's just for the mainstream. So I do think that the mainstream is ruining gaming. You're definitely right. So I definitely agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and the perfect example you use is Pokemon. Because, for example, I think it started changing with Pearl and Diamond. And I think Pearl and Diamond will be peak Pokemon like generation, like forever and ever. Because as soon as that series ended, it just went downhill. Because, for example, back when I played, Fire Red, or back when I played Red and Yellow, the original Crystal, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, the whole, Shabazz. When you picked a Pokemon type, it never tell you in the corner super effective, not effective, very effective, or no effect. It didn't give you any, it never held your hand. So if you're a dark type, you have to find out you can't use dark type on other dark type, or you can't use a dark type on a psychic. Oh no, not psychic. I think it was another type, or steel. You can't use dark on steel, or it's not very effective, or this doesn't apply to that. So, or you can use fighting moves or normal moves on the ghost. You have to learn that for yourself. So, but now when you play Pokemon, once you get into a battle, the moment you click the button fight, it tells you everything. This move would be super effective. That move would be not very effective. That move would have no effect, and that move would be somewhat effective. And they do that for every single thing. And you get lost for a little bit. You get like a little waypoint in the icon, or you click the start button. You see a map of where you need to go. But back when I started playing Pokemon, if you lose your way, you keep on walking until you find it.
We was able to do it when we were younger, so how's it any different?
Exactly. We found a way at the end, but now it's like, if you're playing games like God of War or any other open world games like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, if you're like straying away from a path for too long, you see a little message in the top middle. Oh, remember, go here, or remember the boss is ABC, or remember this, or if you have a teammate with you, or like a little co-character with you. Oh, aren't we supposed to be going through here? Aren't we supposed to be going through there? Oh, I think the way is that way. They kind of like push you to not explore anymore. They want you to just beat the game and that's it. Or they don't want you to be curious. It's just like, okay, here's a game, beat it in 2 hours. All right, buy our next game, buy our DLC. And don't care about the other side, and we'll give you a trophy maybe, but I feel like everything became so just direct. There's no longer freedom. Yes, we have open world, but it's not really open world when you force us in a linear direction.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think I think there was an open world game that released a couple years ago. Oh, that was it. Red Dead Redemption 2, the open world game that they promoted so much as it was this big expansive experience. And I remember, funny enough, I don't know if you've watched the YouTuber Nakey Jakey and stuff. He did basically a massive video covering Red Dead Redemption, and he basically was like, it's funny how they build an open world game, but yet it's the most linear. You have to do this, have to do that. No, you can't attack this guy from behind. You've got to talk to him first to like kill him, whatever. And it's like, oh my god. But they're doing it for the mainstream audience who play 2 games a month and stuff, and think they know everything about games. Like, but and again, we're not trying to gatekeep gaming. We want as many people
Of
to play
course.
games at once, but you've got to have it for everyone. You can't just cater for those who dip into the hobby, because we don't go in. Imagine if me and you and stuff was like, oh, we find watching basketball too complicated, we don't really watch it, and they were like, okay, fine, we're gonna make it now that all of it's 1 point and you have to do free throws every 5 minutes. The fans would be like, what are you doing? Why are you ruining the sport? It's the same argument though. So I 100% agree with you there, like 100%. It is ridiculous. But anyway and stuff, sadly and stuff, we've come to the end and stuff of this podcast and stuff. It's been fantastic chatting to yourself and stuff. I know that obviously you've loved chatting to me because I'm obviously so amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree, 100%. It was fun. I like this.
And the last question I always like to ask with every guest is, if you was to give like someone, like, let's say you were to give me like a piece of advice, what would you say is the most important piece of advice like you could give me?
Whenever starting a new channel or whenever trying to make a come up, don't allow people to get to you. Don't allow people to bother you. No matter what they say or how big they are or whatever they come from, organic beats people who are already up there. For them to get to where they're at, they started where you were at. So everybody has their own pace. Time is basically all up to you. And people start from 1 sub and get to 1 million in 20 years. And some people go from 1 sub to 1 million in 2 days. Time is basically, it's your own interpretation. Get to the point you want to get to organically. Don't change for other people. Don't make yourself a person you're not. Be you. And the best way I can word it is be original and not being original. Because podcasting and interviewing is a very open type of topic. There's a lot of people doing interview type podcasts or interview type channels. My advice is to look at those other channels that are either up there or those who are just starting out. View them, see their recipe, try to make your own recipe and make it your own. So be original at a not original category.
And yeah, and that is fantastic advice and stuff. Like being original, this is what I want to do with this podcast, like, so much. And I do see a lot of interview podcasts, like, I do feel like it is very much like they'll just get the same sort of guests on, it's the same sort of questions. But with this podcast, I want to make it very like my own personal thing, you know what I mean? That's why I brought up the demonetization, and then we talked about hot takes and all that. I'm not just saying like, oh, what's your favorite video game? What's this? I want to be that more, you know what I mean? And I'm happy and stuff like with doing that, and obviously, having fantastic guests and stuff such as yourself always helps. But anyway,
yeah, and also that song choice thing in the beginning. That's something that's completely unique. That's something that's perfectly done. That's perfect to do. That's something no one else is doing. So always try to find a lane that no one else is doing within a lane that's everybody's in traffic in.
And I'm so happy you said that about the song recommendation thing, because that was another thing as well about being original and stuff. So I appreciate you. Yeah, it's too many emotions, man. I can't be crying at the end. YouTube will find a way to demonetize crying soon, so I don't want to cry. It's too emotional.
You can't show no emotion.
But anyway, and stuff, like I said, and stuff, all great things, got to come to an end. This is the end of another fantastic episode and stuff. If you want to go check out more of my episodes and stuff, you know where to find them. Click on the channel and all. You know how to use YouTube and all that and stuff. Check out this guy above me, Senpapi Rick. He's doing fantastic videos, fantastic content. He's a great guy. What's not to love? Check out the Beardy Boys YouTube channel. It's got this man. It's got Nate. It's got Chad. Previous guests on the podcast. Look, you get to see this, like that fantastic beard. Fantastic. Why would you not check it out? But anyway, that's going to be the end of this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.